Monthly Finals. Again, I would like to stress before we get into the game, we are joining Game 2. We did not see Game number 1. We've, rather than sit around for 30 minutes, opted to just cast whatever was available, and this was what we got next. So currently 1-0 in the series. It's going to be the blue Zerg Liquid Snute.
In the bottom position, as the red Zerg, it's Acer's Nerchio.
So I tweeted Snute and Bunny this morning how 1 week later, you think you're all done with that best of 69. You look at the calendar and it's 6/9/2015. God damn it. Although it does make the question why we didn't host the best of 69 for today instead of June 2nd.
Reasons.
It would have made too much sense. Yes.
Well, that would have gone in the whole don't do things on Tuesday because of patching.
Yeah, fair point.
Even though we're having our fair troubles anyways in that stupid best of 69.
Yeah, not being able to host those maps was probably the worst, because
so
it probably, like, in a regular instance doesn't really affect the time of things, but constantly swapping from North America to Europe and back and forth, combined with the delay of like the circle of death, I would seriously wager that we wasted close to an hour over 18 hours based on just trying to host the maps alone.
I agree. Everything was like, big bam boom when we were when I was hosting them. Like, I was on the ball, and then the death thing came, and it was really quite annoying. So yeah, I think an hour is probably right.
Well, lucky for Snute, it's not a Terran he's got to fight against here. Not yet, at least. It is just Nerchio. And I shouldn't say just Nerchio. This guy's pretty good at ZVZ. Him and Bly for a long time were kind of I'd say two of the scariest dudes to play against. Not because they would always just all-in you, but when they did, it would hurt. But also because they were the ones who were really adapting to going Broodlords quicker, while everyone else was still sitting around on Swarm hosts.
Well, Snute is up 1-0. So whatever happened last game, Nerchio wasn't that much trouble, but you're right, like Nerchio still is pretty good ZVZ, and he could definitely turn it around with a quick all-in, or even a macro game. Have some faith there. But it is just going to be a macro game so far. It's Van Eye, so if you are going to Ling all-in, you're gonna have to bust through a couple of queens in that ramp. Pretty easy hold, usually.
Shouldn't be able to get the Overlord, but we'll chase it off.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know where it was going. Oh, it's going back. It's bold.
He wants pain.
I don't really know what that's supposed to see.
Well, unlike, sorry, I've been looking at this clock and going, waiting for the 3.5 minute mark. Oh, wait, we're 4.5 minutes in? Right, because it's HOTS, not Legacy of the Void. But 5.5 minutes to 6 minutes, 3.5 if you're playing Legacy of the Void. These are around the timings where we're going to see drones get cut and possibly just delve into speedlings. It's not as common on this map, various different reasons, but of course more than any that ramp. I just am wondering though if either of them is ballsy enough to do it. Both defensive banning nests for now, but we're getting close to that 5.5 minute mark. We're going to start seeing if drones fall off and if legs pick up.
Yep, should be this larva pop. Pop! Goes the... Oh, he's not using the larva.
Oh man. Okay, so everyone's picking up this date thing, right? We do have some links coming out of Nerchio, but I think it's just a couple for defense. This is a calendar thing that bothers me. So it's not just America, but in North America, the way they do it is month, day, year. And this, I think, it makes kind of sense to me because I grew up learning the calendar as today is July 5th, 2015, not the 5th of July, 2015 type thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's the rest of the world where they'll do date, month, year, and that makes sense because it's smallest to biggest. But it's a little more confusing for me because I do not know anyone that says, oh, it's 12th of July. It's always July 12th.
No, not unless you're playing like a historic game, where you're reading someone's notes.
But even then,
12th of July. Yeah, I don't know. I have given up trying to convince the rest of the world that North Americans and the United States specifically have any good ideas. Because usually we don't. But on that one, I think it's okay, either or. I think you could make solid arguments for either one.
It's just super irritating online because you got to fill out different forms, sign up for websites, and it's like month, day, year, day, month, year. What do I do? Ugh.
Really? I've never had that problem.
I get anxiety, man. You gotta fill that shit out
Well,
right.
okay, I literally have never had that problem because my birth date is 0505.
Oh,
I figured it
well,
out.
there you go. I bet you in 2005 you had the easiest time of your life. Jeez.
Yeah. I never noticed that. I wonder if I would have given my date wrong on so many forms if that was not the case. Oh, lucky.
Well, let's see here. Nerchio going towards the roaches, while Snute's going towards mutas. This is kind of cool. We've seen this dynamic multiple times in this matchup. For Nerchio's sake, I'd say the worst part about this isn't the timing of the roaches or anything like that, but more so that he's going to lose a lot of overlords. Like, Snute's going to defend this bailing sort of poke, no problem. And then when he starts pushing out with the mutas, that's like 6 overlords, 5 overlords in the middle of the map. They're just free pickings.
Mm-hmm. Might also have an attempt from Snoots to make... Well, he has to make Lings defensively, first of all, just because there's a couple coming out from Nerchio. But then a counterattack should be pretty quick afterwards, try and cancel Nerchio's own third. Nerchio's going into really quick Hydras to defend against this. This is usually not the way to go, just because the Hydras, they won't have their upgrades, you know? So they're not going to be like the best Hydras ever when they first pop out. Plus, they come out, you know, like one at a time because they're pretty expensive units. They're not going to get like 60 of them at once. That mutas can technically pick them off. It just we usually see infestors or a lot more queens as the initial response, and then Hydras are added in later.
Yeah. Quick question for you, because this was brought up in chat before you get too on the game. Have you ever seen the show? It's called The Last Man on Earth with Will Forte.
No, I've heard of it.
Okay, well, Kristen Shaw's in it, and she says tomato, like, just naturally. It's really irritating. So I was in chat, like, yeah, we say who's tomato, but who actually says tomato? And I'm like, that chick does, and it's so annoying.
What is that? What does Jenna Maroney say that's really, like, pompous?
Everything that leaves her mouth.
Acting is... What, well, everything,
I'm an actor.
yes, that's true.
Camera.
There's something very specific. Camera.
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 Okay, well, we do finally have some things about to go down. Now, Snute split his mutas because, once again, he sent over overlords before anything else. Nerchio did bring some of them back, but he lost 2 before he could get them all home safely. The road transition for Snute behind this, I actually like this a lot. This kind of reminded me of the way Bly plays this out. You open with a small amount of mutas, you don't over-dedicate, you get the transitions out, you play this game a lot stronger on the back end of it. The infestation pit is the one thing that I do find the most curious, though. Because Snute might go for a couple infestors, and well, infestors have a good place in the matchup with fungal growth and all that, but I don't know, we've been seeing some weird hive play things with ZVZ lately. Again, with Swarmhost not being the focus of the matchup, it's really let players look towards things like, well, okay, hold the phone there. Things like Ultras and such, but not going to be happening here, not just yet. He's going to get some infestors, he's going to get Bailings with speed, but damn, Nerchio's already got a lot of Hydralisks. This could go either really well or really poorly, depending on those Banelings.
Yeah, if this was Snute going into Ling Baneling after a lot of mutas, so not the way that you just described, I think Nerchio loses. Like, that's so many Hydralisk and not enough to protect it from a bunch of Banelings. But Snute was transitioning into Roaches first and Infestors. So the Banelings are not very plentiful. They don't have speed. I mean, I guess they're going to be able to hit if the fungals go down, so that's still possible. I mean, this might still actually work out just because of those fungals being able to land, but that's just not a lot of Banelings.
I don't know, man. I feel like there's so many situations where I really like infestors. I am the infestor guy when it comes to talking about ZVZs and casting them. I don't like infestors for this particular scenario, though. I feel like Snute doesn't really have enough to capitalize with them.
Well, I mean, Nerchio's giving him a lot of time.
That's true.
So.
Upgrades are going to always be a little bit behind, but it might not be that big of a deal. Fungal growth can really help make up that damage if you get enough targets hit with it. I mean, it's only like 30 damage or something over... Yeah, 30 damage over 4 seconds, but 30 damage on, say, 10 units suddenly becomes quite a bit of damage.
Things are kind of evening up here compositional-wise. Like, the mutas will eventually just be given away trying to dive on an infestor or whatnot. And then it'll be Roach, Hydra, Infestor, maybe Vipers, as Nerchio is already on his way to a Hive for both players. I don't think this game's going to end as quickly as I thought anyways. It's been a while since we've seen a very long ZVZ. Yeah. Okay, the Mitas should not just be giving away for that, but that's okay. That's alright.
Well, I mean, for Snoot's sake, if he gets a defensive fight, there's spine crawlers, there's gonna be those fungals, and of course, above all, it's banelings. But so many ifs involved with that. Nerchio, on the other hand, is getting close to that hive finishing, and I'm curious what he's gonna be doing with this. It could just be for a level 3 weapon upgrade, but Vipers, well, not as good, I'd say, as some matchups, still have their place in ZVZ.
I would say that he's going to go for Vipers. I mean, he's going to fit in +3 if he can, but neither player... Okay, never mind, Snute did, but they weren't really using double Evo chambers for most of this game anyways. You know, they are each only on one upgrade so far.
Oh, might get caught here in the middle. The reason I find it a little bit interesting is because Nerchio's usually the guy to go for this Broodlords above most others, but he doesn't have Aspire to do that. Fungal Growth is going to miss. Hits Roaches instead of Banelings. Banelings trying to roll through. Unfortunately, there's that wall of Roaches, so the Banelings get a little bit wasted. Fungal Growth out of Snute are looking fantastic, though. However, will that unit count hold? Both players are depleting very quickly. Snute might just be able to do it. I think, he's got a couple Hydras in the back. They're kind of attacking Overlords and Overseers. This was a fight that was close, but a lot of his units weren't being used efficiently.
Yeah, that's definitely true, but I guess the mass amount of Fungals that he had was barely enough to overcome both the Hydras dripping in the back, but also that upgrade deficit he was at. He did not have his upgrades. He still doesn't have his upgrades finishing up, but once he does, we're looking a lot nicer. On even footing for a while longer.
Okay, well, it knocks down 1/4, but Nerchio takes another, but it's at the gold this time around. Soon not going to move towards his own hive tech. Still curious to see if Nerchio is going to plan to make any Vipers or not. I really think right now the focus has got to be getting that army back up. Vipers come later. They're more like the complementary forces at the end, but regardless of what he does with this, Snute did just take a really great engagement that did put him, in fact, ahead in the game. His 4th is up and running. Yeah. And he's got a nice wall of spine crawlers to complement this, too.
This bank's going to be getting just bigger and bigger if Nerchio is unable to secure the gold base anyways, but so far it looks like it's not even scouted. That could be a problem. And then that's really going to determine the way this game goes, is who's going to remax better and faster after, a really huge engagement goes down. Which won't be happening until Nerchio is maxed again, just taking his sweet time getting to. There's also a little supply blocked. Those Hydras were taking out Overlords. While that fight went on. Also have Burrow for Snute, so looking towards some harassment opportunities the game goes on. I guess that's okay. He also could have gone into his own Good Spire. I mean, we did talk about Broodlords first. He's just waiting on that hive. No Greater Spire yet with that hive. Just the +3 attack, which will still be way behind Nerchio's.
Oh, hey, this is kind of cool. Just a bit of news. Looks like Take TV finally put in some new perks for their Kickstarter, and they are under $100. So that's cool.
Oh, really?
I have no idea if they would raise $17,000 or not, guys. And we're still suggesting if folks have got a couple of bucks, a couple of coins jingling around in their esports wallets, put it towards the Home Story Cup, Indiegogo, put it towards our Kickstarter. Either way, they're both great events, but if Take TV can raise $17,000 for their event, they're going to fly me and Zombie out to help cast, and I think that would be really freaking sweet. But that's
that would be really, really awesome. But there's a new Mirror's Edge coming out! Ah! Ah!
Asian people running, what a cliche.
Is it?
No, it's not. That was the point of the joke.
I was gonna say. Well, I don't know.
That was the joke.
Maybe there's something I don't know. But the only thing that sucked about Mirror's Edge... Sorry. The only thing that sucked about the first Mirror's Edge was the cutscenes had terrible art. Did you play it?
I played a little bit. I've watched more speedruns than I've ever completed a full playthrough of that game.
Well, the speedrun skipped the intro, or the cutscenes, obviously. So, but the art just really was not appealing. Like, it was
think
very
about how old
stylish.
that is, though. I mean, that was like early 2000s when that game came out.
No,
right?
but it was like 2D art. So like their cutscenes were like 2D animation, but they were kind of like flash animation, where like things were like on hinges. So it was not fluid. It was not good looking. Like it wasn't like core level animation.
Well, hang on. I'll talk about that in a sec. Fungal Growth missed a couple on the first shots. Snoot's Infestors completely caught out of position for this fight. So Nerchio comes into this with a 3-2 upgrade advantage, plus the fact that he picks off those Infestors. A big concave goes down. He completely surrounds and crushes Snoot's forces. Snoot left with a decent amount to remax on, but is 47 roaches going to be enough? Nerchio's also making 44 of his own.
I think it will be. As long as you can protect that fourth from going down, everything's okay. It looks like Nerchio is not going to pressure. We've got nothing else going on the map. He's just, I think, afraid of that remax coming a little faster than he would expect. So now it is popping out, along with a couple of infestors and hydras to really help. Looks like the gold base might go down again. Snoot's upgrade's barely not finished.
Not yet. Well, there you go. Now they're matched. They're even in upgrades, but Snoot's also working towards level 3 Carapace. If he doesn't take too bad of a fight here, once again, he's got a little bit more money, a little bit more gas. He can remax on roaches one more time.
Wow, this is an even fight so far. Not a lot of hydras involved. The hydras are finally going down. They've lost a lot of that buffer, but they did their job for the rest of that fight. Snute wanted to protect his gold base, and for good reason. But I think that had he given it up, he might have been in a better position.
Just recovering from the loss of those infestors in the middle of the map. I can't even say that with them he would have won that fight, but without them he was certainly going to lose it every single time.
Yeah. Well, it was also just like, he had a perfect composition with the blinding clouds too. The infestors get the fungals, and like especially like in a non-concave position, the blinding clouds make like half of that army useless, like absolutely useless. Instead, the fungals wore off, then the blinding clouds went down, and then Nerchio just, you know, walked out of them like you should. So it was like the perfect composition. Snute was looking like really good, and then he just got caught in the one part of Van Eye that really allows you to have a very good concave. He's starting to recover. I think defending that gold base is going to be the reason that he loses. Where are those spines? If he does lose here. Is that the fourth?
Oh, that's going to be really unfortunate. I think the blinding clouds and the fungals, though, I mean, blinding clouds actually aren't that great. Everything just moves out of them. Snute doesn't have enough roaches. This is such a hard hold. A couple of infested terrors coming down out of desperation, but Nerchio is going to win the game and tie it up 1-1. Guys, I've seen several people now bring up the topic of the stream possibly lagging. We have not